This episode of Casual Friday is brought to you by Gamefly.
Yeah, I want to be in a porno. That sounds awesome, including one woman who would do it on the condition that she could have a milk enema. Craigslist, everybody. So it's
Shark Week,
Shark Week.
everyone.
Shark Week.
Should raise a glass to Shark Week.
You know, I used to take Shark Week off. You know, for personal reasons. No, not really. I think that joke is funny. Like people be like, "Oh, I can't come in. It's it's Passover or whatever." You're like, "No, I take it off. It's Shark Week. I do it for spiritual reasons. I go out.
And there might be some kind
Go out
of
in the desert where there are no sharks."
Piscean belief system that would allow you. No, probably not. Yeah. I mean, if you were Aquaman,
Yeah, probably.
you probably
I'm a
could.
Pisces.
You are Pisces.
Close
you
enough.
probably have. They are fish. Yeah, they're fish.
Yeah,
Yeah.
sharks are fish. Well,
Yeah, but they're really old, scary fish.
I know.
Why are they so scary? Why are they a thing?
I think partially.
You're old and scary. Tell me these things. Adam.
when I was a kid at Lake Temescal, granted there's no sharks there, but someone just got the thought in my head when I was 8 and it was like a school trip. And I think there's just that vulnerability. That's what Jaws does so well at the very beginning. It's like I'm not in the best state to handle danger.
I used to be afraid of going swimming in our pool at nighttime without the pool lights on because I was
It's
afraid there would
unsettling.
be hammerhead sharks.
It's unsettling. It's
really
genuinely.
disturbing.
Hammerhead sharks I was obsessed with. I think I still am.
Oh my God.
Because evolutionarily, it's like, well, then you must be doing something right if that's the direction you decided to evolve.
Yep.
Because you're not winning just about every other contest out there, so I assume the eating one is working in your favor.
No, I mean
Yeah.
there were just millennia of sharks that evolved with something directly in front of them, and so they're.
It was this old shark prank where they would stick like a prehistoric fish right here, maybe a
Yep.
coelacanth, because that's an old fish.
You know,
But their mouths are underneath their heads.
that's.
So they don't
I like
even
it looking.
need
If
to.
you look up at them, they just kind of have this like.
Yeah, apparently they're really carnivorous.
Really?
Yeah, like they're
Sharks?
quite hammerhead sharks.
Really.
I
But
thought
if
the
you look,
opposite.
Like,
if
as
you
opposed-
look at the
like, they
placement
just really
of the
don't-
mouth, it would be kind of like I would have to kind of be going like that if I was
Yeah.
trying to bite you.
They're one of the few, I guess, species of shark where its eyes are not on the same plane as its mouth.
Huh.
Shark facts, everyone.
Yeah.
Wow. You know,
We've been learning from our employer.
Yes.
Here's to that.
you know, going back to the thing about being a kid and being in water, I was always smart enough to recognize when I was in a place where there clearly were not sharks, but I would start hypothesizing things that could theoretically be there.
Yeah.
At summer camp, there was a legendary snapping turtle that everyone had to watch out for. Who I can't tell if this is a Hey Arnold episode or something that actually happened to me. But I think it was they warned us about a snapping turtle. It may or may not have been called lockjaw, but I know that they were like, "Don't go out in the kayaks, kids, because there's a giant 500-pound turtle out there." And I mean, the kayaks are like little plastic. You know, they're playground equipment that went in the water, and they're sending children out there, and they're clouds of fish poop, which if you hit it with an oar explodes into like a black cloud. But I was
Where
like,
did you grow up?
Yeah.
the middle of the country, you know.
They just sound so dangerous with snapping turtles.
I don't know if it was actually. There was also the hatchet man.
crap.
I mean, this is camp counselors. They're 17-year-olds who are given watch over children, and they're like, what are you supposed to do? Well, we're supposed to motivate them to go out swimming in water and go enjoy aquatic activities. How do we do that? Tell them there's shit in there that'll kill them.
Man, I would be an awesome camp counselor.
my-
I'd scare those kids so bad.
My counselors dressed like Moses and then tricked us into remaking his tablets after he smashed them because earlier in the day we had put together a paper mache goat and thought it was cool.
What?
Yeah.
I don't understand a word you just said.
Jew
But back
camp.
to sharks.
It was Jew camp.
That explains it.
There's a joke that could be made there, but let's move on.
No, I think sharks. I don't know what it is about sharks that they have this terrifying look to them. But when I was playing Far Cry 3,
God.
I refused to swim in the ocean in
No.
that game because it's so terrifying.
They're scary.
No, it actually does a really good job. 'Cause there's enough of those outcroppings.
Yeah.
Doing the Jaws 2 thing,
Yeah.
where it's okay, I need to shoot him because I was trying to do the hunting missions. So it's okay, put myself out there as the lure, swim as fast as I can, get up on a rock and try to shoot at it.
My solution was to find a sort of shallow area and throw charges into the water to blow up the shark with explosives.
Well, then it was you could hit him with a boat.
That works too.
I don't know if that works in real life.
I feel like they're not
Maybe
that
a
stupid. Maybe I don't know.
Boat.
Yeah.
That works for manatees real well. I know that a lot of manatees get killed, but no one's scared of them, so it's kind of what's the point?
So shark thing that I read probably a couple years back, because more than sharks, I'm kind of obsessed with the giant squid.
Oh God, that's that's
well, but it's just also it's like that thing I used to read about and no one's ever found. Like there's only been a tiny bit of film footage of one, and then I guess people were noticing a strange migratory pattern to the great white, where it tends to want to be in shallow water because that's where the seals are, but they would go way out into the Atlantic, the Pacific, and then dive really, really deep. So they hypothesized, what if they're fighting giant squid? And now it's like, okay, now that I know that there's that level of awesome somewhere in the ocean, like let's send James Cameron, he can build a house down there and just wait for it to happen and shoot it.
Why did somebody make a movie about sharks and tornadoes when there's sharks and giant squids? Like that's...
They actually already made a giant shark. They've done...
Oh, giant, oh yeah,
That's
an octopus
They've done
though.
Sharktopus, they've done giant great white shark versus giant, like they've done every pretty much combination. They've literally kind of painted themselves into a corner where they're like, what else? A tornado, sure.
Megalodon.
Yeah, they did a bunch of those. I've always wanted that. I like the idea.
That's where the great creative center of the NBC networks is. Are the ones who come up with the shark movies.
I like the idea of like this is real. This is a serious concern that we could have. We don't know where the great white the giant squids are. This isn't really about sharks, but we don't know where the giant squids are, and we do know where Bin Laden was when he died. They threw him in the ocean, and there was that Japanese reactor in Fukushima. Think about it.
Yeah.
You got a squid Bin Laden that comes out of the Pacific.
I'm not gonna think about that.
I think that's
right now
scary.
in my head, the spec script is being written.
Yeah.
And I'm already hearing the denials.
You know what? I'll go talk to Sci-Fi about it because they clearly.
Yeah.
Tell them hi for me when you're there. Go, hey, Bonnie. So I think we all agree kind of where the shark anxiety comes from. You're in the water and stuff like that. I mean, let's talk about this on Tesla or something. We don't get that. No one successfully had a game that works that centers on the shark, and the Jaws game does not.
They try.
That was. I don't even know if that was the best effort basis, but that was an effort, nonetheless.
Right.
But I mean, so like, and I really do think that we can do whatever we want in games, so you don't need to lean too heavily on the sharks. But like, what is like the scary thing? Are there any like creatures and stuff that actually are scary that kind of touch on that kind of shark fear?
Any kind of made-up creature, I think, doesn't have the same weight to it, so it's hard to be scared. And like, I can't even think of anything that would look gruesome enough to like actually make me afraid of it. I think that's what's scary about sharks is that
They look efficient.
they're grounded in reality. Like
Yeah.
you know that could happen to you in real life, and you always hear stories of.
I think there's
people
also,
getting
and we did like a sharks video ages ago, but you're talking about how the presence of tanks, like water tanks, is almost scarier than when you can see the shark. Because when you see tanks, you're like, what's in there? What's in that thing?
Not clear tanks?
Even clear ones where you can't quite see what's in there. I was at the House of Insects at the San Francisco Zoo, and I saw, you look at the little plaque.
They get
and you're
a
like,
house?
Yeah, they get a house. I know there's a lot of people in San Francisco who don't have a house, but the insects get their own house. No, they have like the little placards, and you always look at them and you're like, what's this? Oh, it's hissing cockroaches. And then you kind of look up because you know what you're looking for. You're not just going to be like staring at a stick trying to tell if it's a bug or not. And then you move on. You're like, oh, what's this? This is a centipede. Oh, that's scary. And I get to the next one, and it's like, spider of some sort, big, ugly, goddamn spider. And I'm like, huh. And usually everything is hiding under that stupid fake log they have in there. But I look up, and the thing is like a giant Muppet hand, just like a big fuzzy glove, just right there on the glass. And I go, nope, and I get the fuck out of that room and there were children present, so I got scolded for cussing. But goddamn, that spider.
It is always scary when things appear out of nowhere.
Yeah.
In games, like slowly coming into picture, and then boom, it's right there in your face.
And like you're aware, and you're like, you start to get that panic going where you need to make a split-second decision, and that decision-making thing, that enzyme is just not triggering in that moment.
And it's not just a jump scare. A jump scare is cheap, but when something is made apparent without like a sudden, cut to a cut scene where it shows it being revealed, but like when something just kind of, you're sort of, oh, there's a thing. What's that? That's new. It might kill me.
That's why, like, the scariest thing in games is nothing.
I think like the games, it's funny. I'm going back to the original Riddick game, Butcher Bay, Escape from Butcher Bay. There's that one bit where you have to go subterranean, and the small things that have just been living underground too long, you know, they're running around all fast, and it's dark and you can't see them. It's like when you know you're in a situation where something else has the upper hand because they've evolved to be more adaptive. And that's
There you go.
Look at that.
Exactly.
I explained
Psychology.
Yeah. What I really want is I'm so tired of these. You know, you get these power simulators where you're like, oh, you are you are the manliest man with the biggest gun that has a chainsaw on it. Your neck is the size of a tree. I want a game where you're an animal that kills those things. Like, I mean, there have been attempts to make these kind of like the Jaws game where you could eat fat people and spit them back in the ocean on the beach. You know, and it's like.
Or Katamari Damacy.
Yeah, exactly. Where you're just, and it's that sense of destruction, but it's always there's way too many games where you play as people. There was a great Wii game. Sorry, that wasn't a great game. Dangerous Creatures.
Yeah.
Where you could be a tarantula and a scorpion.
Yep.
You went around and you just fought other bugs, and there was a whole like subplot about Billy Bob Thornton and John Voight or Dennis Hopper, I think, looking for treasure. They were like, well, we have to make a game about bugs, but we have to make it relevant to people. So there's like you'll be like a tarantula that just happens to be near these treasure hunters. They're like, we gotta find the gold.
I can't remember who's in that game, but I feel better for Billy Bob Thornton if he's hanging out with Dennis Hopper than John Voight.
Yeah.
It sounds scarier with John Voight.
All three of them could probably use jobs.
Well, Dennis Hopper's dead, so.
Well,
Tokyo Jungle.
Tokyo Jungle.
Yeah.
There you
Damn,
go.
yeah.
I lost it for a second. Yeah, Tokyo Jungle. You can totally play as whatever animal you want.
Unfortunately, you
It's
kind of
not
have to
scary, though.
work your way up. Yeah, and there's no real power fantasy there. Like being a Pomeranian is kind of throwing that back at me. I'm like, I want a game about animals where I can be any animal I want. They're like, well, you can be a Pomeranian in the apocalypse, and guess what? Everything kills you, no matter how much you try and bite it.
Somebody
and
should
hump
make a
it.
game where you play as a sea urchin and just observe.
yeah. Or see an enemy. So
Yeah.
you can have a few more tendrils that are
Or
like
a
kind of waving.
jellyfish, and you can sting people.
Like that, those scary ones that are in Australia that are really small and they'll like kill you.
Really?
Yeah, I mean, look, if there's one thing I've learned about Australia, very, very nice people. I will not, no water, no walking in the water.
Australia is the land of horrors.
I know.
Let me just tell you that.
How many of our
George.
videos devolve into us just talking about how much Australia scares us?
It's terrible.
And they can't even get Saints Row. It's bullshit.
Yeah.
Is it even a real place?
They're like, the
Think
video
so.
games cost $100, the beer costs $40, and then it's like, guess what? You can't go outside because the sun will kill you, and there's sharks in the water, and
giant
spiders in the land.
spiders.
The spiders will chase you. What's wrong with that place?
Yeah, Australia.
Yeah.
It's the shark.
They should make
places.
They should make a game where Australia is coming onto other countries. Australia, the continent, is the enemy, and it just comes after you.
Is Peter Benchley dead?
I don't know, but he probably needs work.
Enjoy Casual Friday and you'd like to support the show? Then why not try out GameFly? With plans starting at just $15.95 a month, GameFly members can rent 1 to 4 games at a time and keep them for as long as they like. GameFly offers a choice from over 8,000 new and classic titles across all consoles and handhelds, so there's always something new to play. Once you're done playing, just send the game back and GameFly will send you the next available game on your list. Best of all, you can get a 15-day free trial and support Casual Friday by signing up at gamefly.com/casual.